I remember many, many years back in Luca when Fairfax Democrats had been in about a quarter of this room. So I want to start by a hearty thank you for all you've done in 2016 when we were one of the only southern, we were the only southern state that went for Hillary. In 2017, when not only did we sweep the statewide ticket, but we also came within a hair of winning the House. And let's make sure in 2019 we get back the House and the Senate. And then in 2018, where you sent my friend of 39 years, Tim Kaine, back to be my partner in the Senate, and not one, not two, but 3 new Democrats statewide. Now I know Dan told me that we've got lots of local races, lots of great candidates. I'm not going to take the whole meeting by any chance, because I imagine you've got a few things to discuss. But I thought I would come out and give you a report from the front. I'm going to talk for about 8 or 10 minutes. Of course, that's a politician, 8 or 10 minutes. So, and then be happy to, if you want, Dan, I'll take a couple of questions. Let's have at it. You know, for the last 2 years, I've been spending obviously a huge amount of time looking into the attack on our democracy that took place by Russia. I, like probably many of you, have been surprised, to say the least, of what happened with the Mueller report. I have not seen it, you have not seen it, but I will not rest until we all see it. And let's just remember this. No matter what comes out of this White House, no matter what comes out of this administration, let's just quickly recap what we know that is without question. And candidly, the first 3 things I'm going to mention, what we know in a bipartisan way, Maggie, stop. What we know in a bipartisan way that our whole Intelligence Committee has reconfirmed. First, we know that in 2016, Russia massively intervened in our elections, and they did so to help Donald Trump and to be against Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Second thing we know, and we were lucky on this, Russia penetrated 21 of our state's electoral systems, and candidly, they rattled the door, I think expecting it to find it locked, but in most cases it was open. Now, we had put $376 million of additional money into election security, and in 2018, that protected us, but they will be back in 2020. And we still got broad bipartisan election security legislation that needs to get passed. Frankly, it would be passed if it got brought to the floor. But we have this slight problem with the Republican leadership. We also know that in many ways, what happened, and I say this to those of you, I look around, there's many of you I know, some of you I don't. But my background for 20 plus years before I was Democratic State Party Chair and ran for Senator, became Governor, then Senator, was in the technology business. And the thing that we discovered, that you all now know, that with the wonderful companies around Google, and I had the CEO of Google in the office today, Google, Facebook, and Twitter, there's some great things they've done. But there's also a dark underbelly of how these tools that bring us together can be manipulated to split us apart in ways that, frankly, I don't think the founders of those companies, and honestly, the United States government didn't fully appreciate. The remarkable thing is, in a nation where we spend $716 billion on defense, and Russia spends 70, I believe in a strong defense, but I frankly believe that we may be buying too much 20th century stuff when most of the conflict in the 21st century is going to be in cyber and disinformation and disinformation. And when we look at Russia, we look at China at 250, and the difference between what we're spending and China's spending, China's investing in artificial intelligence, 5G, next generation wireless, quantum computing, all the areas that for most of us in our lives, where America always led in technology, all of that's up for grabs. And we have a White House, instead of taking on that issue, that declares Canada a national security risk, but doesn't realize in the realm of social media we need to put some, at least guardrails around. We need to protect the integrity of the internet. But the amount of hate speech that appears on the internet, the amount, one of the things, just one example, if you looked at the debate on the NFL players debate, whether you were for the players or against the players, the overwhelming majority of the postings for the players or against the players weren't by Americans, but they were by foreign-based bots. And that world that we're entering into, this is not exactly the cheery part of my talk. That world that we're entering into, if you look at what Russia did in our elections, if you look at what they did in the Brexit vote that has now come out, if you look at what they did in the French presidential elections, add it all together, it's less than the cost of one F-35 airplane. So as Democrats, as Americans, we need to rethink how we protect our democracy on an ongoing basis. And it would be great if we actually had a partner in the White House who believed in that as well. We also had today the administration, and this was kind of hypocrisy even from a group that knows no bounds. This White House came out today and said they wanted to suddenly be the party of healthcare. Think about this for a moment. This was the crowd on repeal and replace that couldn't repeal and didn't have the foggiest idea of replace, but now they are trying to advance court cases to completely overturn Obamacare. So all of the folks who said they want to protect people with pre-existing conditions or recognize that Americans should no longer subsidize the drug prices for the whole rest of the world, and we need to bring some price control and pricing to our pharmaceutical drugs, now they said they want to be interested in that. And I can assure you we are not going to be part of it. Today as well, we took on the issue, we did not fall for the trap where Mitch McConnell laid out trying to put up part of the Green Deal, as opposed to saying, let's actually, this is from an administration that has still denied climate change. And we as Democrats said, no, we want to put out a real movement forward on climate change, a real plan. I, for one, believe we've got to put a price on carbon, that we can't rely on anything other than trying to make sure that we get this into the marketplace in a way that makes sense, but we're not going to play around with some political games. And candidly, last comment I want to make is this, and I hope one of the things that I can contribute to the great almost 20 Democrats who are running for president. And those of you who've known me a long time, I think we need to recognize that we've got to make some changes with our system. You know, I've been blessed to do pretty well. But in a lot of ways, modern American capitalism is not working for enough people. I don't say we throw it all out, but I do say we need to recognize, and I won't go through the whole litany or I'll never be invited back, but I hope to lay out some ideas that hopefully some of our candidates will start to pick and choose from. It says, and let me just give you the top line, 3 quick ideas. 1, third of our workforce, very few people are going to work for the same job that my dad did for 38 years. A third of our workforce in America today is working in some level of contingent work. They're part-time, they're gig workers, they're independent contractors. The number of us, and our kids particularly, who are doing IT consultants, starting a business, driving an Uber, and also renting out their apartment Airbnb, is not the exception but the rule. But that third of the workforce is out there operating on the edge with no benefits at all. We need to create a 21st century social contract that regardless of what kind of work you do, you get some benefits. You get some health care. You know, in the 20th century, and maybe this worked in the 20th century, in the 20th century we had shortage of capital and abundance of labor. So everything we did in the tax code favored labor, or favored capital. 21st century, we got plenty of money sloshing around. We don't have enough trained people. And everybody who's got a training today needs to continue to work because skills are going to need to be changed. So I propose, if you look back at the 20th century, we put things in our tax code, like the R&D tax credit. You go out and buy a computer, you get a tax credit, and you get an asset you can put on your balance sheet. Every business I know says, my most important asset is my people. Well, we do nothing in our country to incent the tax code or the accounting system invest in our people. And I think we need to change that. I think we got to treat investment in human capital at least as well as we treat investment in stock. So I got this version of an R&D tax credit for human growth. The idea as well that public companies got to be willing to report on what kind of investments they're doing in ongoing training and upskill. And you got to dedicate this towards low and moderate skill people so they actually have a chance to get the fair shot that I managed to have, and many of us. And finally, I say this, and I know with some trepidation at a Fairfax County Democratic meeting. You know, I was a business guy. But I gotta tell you, I'm not sure many of the great businesses that were created in America post-World War II could be created in a system that focuses entirely on short-term profits only over long-term value creation. I think it's time. It's a little too wonky at this point, so hopefully the 20 can figure out ways to talk about it better. But candidly, we need a time where we actually have no longer simply a capitalism that's based on shareholders only, but it's actually based on stakeholders, where businesses actually have to recognize the value of their employees in the community. For a long time, maybe we didn't need rules like that because people who ran businesses and worked at businesses lived in the same community. But as we split that more and more, and as we see companies basically sacrifice their own long-term best interest for that next 2 cents, next quarter profits, that is not a system that is sustainable. So I believe there needs to be a different economic narrative than, frankly, what has been presented, obviously, from the White House. And candidly, I think we need a narrative that is forward-looking for our economy that I hope that some of these, our Democratic candidates will. There are a host of other issues, and I know you've got a lot of business to do tonight. But I wanted to come by, and this has been a bit of a, like, almost every week in Washington, a little bit ups and downs. I can assure you, we all need, and I will not rest, as I said earlier, until we have all the facts out from the Mueller report, and also, as much as possible, not only to look at what Trump did or didn't do, and his folks did or didn't do, but to make sure this doesn't happen again. I want to like to we have a health system that actually doesn't just provide basic coverage, but it's also affordable. And that means a new examination of costs, particularly around pharmaceuticals. It means as well recognizing that climate change is not going away, and we need, as America, not be at the tail end of this adjustment, but to be leaders. And candidly, we need an economic system where each and every one of us have got that fair shot that has defined our country for most of the 20th century and needs to define it again for the 21st century. And that's why I'm a Democrat. And that's why we as Democrats need to work our tails off this year. We all know in presidential years, and congressional years, and gubernatorial years, there's statewide candidates. But this year is where the rubber hits the road. This is the year you get to choose who's going to be on your school board. This is the year you get to choose who's going to be on your board of supervisors. This is the year we're going to decide how we're going to make sure that the state house and the state senate are actually continue to be progressive, and we don't have efforts where we've expanded Medicaid to have a future Republican legislature try to roll that back. So I promise I'm going to work with all of the candidates. We got to get them nominated first. Hello, Sala. But we've got to make sure with all the differences we have going through this process, that at the end of the process, the end of the nomination process, we come together. Because too much at stake at the county level, in Richmond, and Lord knows, in the 25 plus years I've been doing politics, I've never seen anything like what goes on in Washington these days. That is not the America that we want to lead towards. So thank you all as fellow Democrats. Thank you for letting me come out. I'm going to make a rookie politician mistake with this crowd and even take a couple questions. All right. Please see you.
You know that I believe, and I suspect many believe, you are the strongest candidate we would have to beat Trump and to...
You were supposed to be my friend in this group.
No, I put my country above you. And the way of getting my country back on it is to pick a candidate who can two things. Who can beat Donald Trump. I think you're the strongest person to do it. And secondly, somebody who knows the international arena. And you have that expertise. Please consider it.
I intend to try to continue to contribute, and I think we've got great candidates. The only thing I'd ask you, if you've got candidate choices for 2020, and they are, I know them all, almost at least 17 of the 20. But I would ask you one thing. Say we welcome them to Virginia. But if you're coming to Virginia this year, first of all, you got to help us raise money for our state legislature, state senate, and our local elections this year. First things first. So let's make sure, no matter who you're for, tell them, come to Virginia, but we need you to come to Virginia for a fundraiser for X-raising number of candidates. Yes, ma'am.
First, I want to say thank you for allowing us to come to your office in Tyson's Corner all this time. I started from the beginning lobbying, and now we're doing it the second Tuesday of every month, and this is the first time I've seen you in person.
Come up to Washington then. Come to Alexander.
It's more convenient for me to go to Tyson.
Do you want me to do that for you?
Since when is
And then I can... My turn.
So do you think Lindsey Graham is going to investigate Obama?
The question, listen, you know, sometimes there's a lot of talk that goes on Capitol Hill. I know that's shocking, the newsflash. But I wouldn't spend sleepless nights on that issue.
Hello. Do you want policy kind of questions or more election-related questions?
You know, this is free game. You know, if you want to just kind of like complain to your senator, that's
No,
okay
no, this
too.
is not a complaint, this is not a inquiry. You know, we've got all kinds of threats to the country and the interventions and everything. But as far as an economic threat, what are your perspectives on like cryptocurrencies and people investing in virtual currencies that actually have no real backing?
It's great to be back at SABC. You know, I would get shouted down on most of these questions. So I actually think blockchain has enormous possibilities in terms of having an auditable account that could take place across a whole series. And distributed ledger makes an enormous amount of sense. I think some of the cryptocurrencies are the tulip craze of 2018 and 2019. And, you know, I continue to worry. If there are ways we can bring more security to our system, I'm all for it. And maybe this group would realize more than most, the number of times a day that our country is attacked on a cyber basis, not just from foreign entities, but from cyber criminals here. You know, I think about our election system, and you know, we've got some secure election acts that should be passed, and we'll just get it on the floor. But also, if you realized how much of our healthcare system